So please, should I read?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, so scenario. A Silver Plata Ventures is a car maintenance company in Tiana Paga, in the Upper East region of Ghana. The workers of the company get their total compensation as a fixed salary added to the allowances that are based on the work they do in a month. In addition, the company gives discounts to their regular customers.
Since your reading is so lovely, you continue reading for us. And whilst he's reading, the rest of you, I expect you to be reading too. So continue reading for us. Are you there?
Oh, sorry, my mic was off.
Sorry.
Mr. Brainy Trouble, the account manager of the company, finds it difficult to calculate the gross salary of a worker at the end of the month. Therefore, Mr. Trouble has decided to track the work done by a worker on a daily basis. This would enable him to calculate the allowances given to workers at the end of the month. Further, he has decided to track, he has he has decided to track the visits of a customer on a monthly basis. The data will enable him to calculate the discount to be given to a customer. As a solution to Mr. Trouble's problem, the company has decided to create databases that store information about workers, customers, work done by each worker, and consumable products. Based on the data in the databases, the company will then generate reports to analyze the data. The analysis of the data in the crystal reports will enable Mr. Trouble to find the work done by a worker in a month and therefore calculate the worker's gross monthly salary. The scope of the project discovers the creation of a Windows application for Silver Plata Ventures.
Okay. Thank you so much for reading this for us. Who
Oh,
here does not understand this? Before we do anything, who here does not understand it? Today, I'm going to take this case study and I'm going to break it down myself. But before I break it down, I need to know who doesn't understand this. Because um, as much as everything we learn is conceptual, there comes a point where you must apply. There comes a point where you must create, you must build, you must manage, you must be involved. So if you see a problem, analyze the problem and break it down, then we have a very big problem. So looking at what is on the screen right now, who does not understand what was read? Or who would like someone else to read it again for us to have a better understanding of the scope of the problem? I'm assuming with the silence,
So
everybody has a fair yes.
please, can we go through the passage again?
That's very well. Is there anybody out there who is also brave enough to help us with reading the passage again?
So I'll read it.
That's fine. Read it for us again.
Silver Plata Ventures is a car maintenance company in Tiana Paga, in the Upper East region of Ghana. The workers of the company get their total compensation as a fixed salary added to allowances that are based on the work they do in a month. In addition, the company gives discounts to their regular customers.
Okay,
Mr.
let's
Brain,
stop here. Let's stop here. So um you continue, but just stop here for a while.
okay.
They are a maintenance company. This first package just gives you a sense of what the person is doing. Normally, whenever you go and see a client, you should always know that the client will embellish. The client may say things which are not even part of his core mandates. Your job is to break down and see the patterns. Who are the people that play a role in this environment? What does he want to do? And what will those people allow him to do what he wants to do? So this passage gives you a fair idea of what he wants to do, what is everything is about. At the end of the day, he wants to calculate the salary of his employees. He wants to know how much discount he should give to particular customers if they visit his place often. Here, we understand what the person wants us to do. Please, can you continue reading for us?
Mr. Brainy Trouble, the accounts manager of the company, finds it difficult to calculate the gross salary of a worker at the end of the month. Therefore, Mr. Trouble has decided to track the work done by a worker on a daily basis. This would enable him to calculate the allowances given to workers at the end of a month. Further, he has decided to track the visits of a customer on a monthly basis. This data would enable him to calculate the discount to be given to a customer. So should I
Fantastic.
continue?
Fantastic. Pause here too. So over here, they are giving you a sense of what he wants. And over here to you, as the data analyst, your focus here is who should you be keeping data on? What should you be keeping data on? I gave you guys an assignment to go to a company and then review the company and see if they have a problem that you can build a database system for. Now, your ability to understand a potential customer and know what they want is a very, very important ability in computer science. It's a very, very important ability in IT. It's a very important ability in computer engineering. Because if I don't understand the customer's needs, how do I solve his needs for him? So looking here, I am having a sense of the entities in which I require. I will ask you what entities in which we are supposed to require. But here, I am providing myself an idea, a sense, a figure of what I need. He's telling me that he needs to calculate the salary of his workers. He has to do it day by day. Now, the day by day part is something in which the software designer has to focus on. For me, as the database analyst, and our course being database, what am I focusing on? It is the data storage and what I'll be storing. The customer will have to work day by day. They are saying they need to keep information on the customer. They need to know when the customer comes. So again, as the passage is being read, you are getting a sense of who plays a role, what does he do, based on who you are, what you do, then we will know what information we need to save on you. Please, the reader, can you continue for us?
Okay. As a solution to Mr. Trouble's problem, the company has decided to create databases that store information about workers, customers, work done by each worker, and consumable products. Based on the data in the databases, the company will then generate reports to analyze the data. The analysis of the data in the crystal reports will enable Mr. Trouble to find the work done by a worker in a month and therefore calculate the worker's gross monthly salary. The scope of the project covers the creation of a Windows application for Silver Platter Ventures.
Wonderful. So we as database analysts, our job is to build a database so that the software analyst can take either VB or C# and build the software on top of our database infrastructure. That is our job. Question number 1 of the day. Who are the entities that play a role in this database? Who are they? Who are the entities that play a role in this environment? Can anybody name one?
So the workers.
The workers. Okay. Can someone give us another one?
Please, customers.
So the customers. Can someone give us another one?
Say products.
The
Consumable
consumable
products.
products. Very good. The consumable products. Can someone give me another one? Now, you see that it is here that all the physical things you can touch, oh, customer, worker, consumable products, all of them have been answered. So what information are we saving again in this environment? Can anybody tell us?
Sir, please, records.
What records? You must be specific.
Others,
An entity. Pardon?
others.
I don't hear the word. I hear orders.
Yes, others.
What are they ordering? Because over here, we are looking at the work done, and they want to know the customers, how many times in which they visit. Key points over there. Yes, Alote, what do you think it is?
So please, it is work done by a customer.
Work done by a customer. So here we'll just say work what? Done. Because under work done, we will know which worker did the work, and we will know what worker and what customer it did the work for. And we will also know what product it used to do the work for the what? Customer. So technically, this table here is a table that will combine all the three things in which we have at the top over here. We need to also create a separate table that will hold the visits so that we can keep track of the customer what? Visits to the organization. Does that make sense, please? Please, I know that in normal studies, talking in class is frowned upon because you will not look cool, or for some reason you are afraid or something. But again, when it comes to software development and its this enclave, analysis, database, writing of the code, I know it. So I can come and then just teach it and go. It's not a problem for me. To be honest, as you can see, I like talking very quickly, so it's not a problem for me. But at the end of the day, you learn nothing. You must be vocal and voice out whatever you think is the way to go. It may be right or it may be wrong, but the most important thing is we need to know why it is right and why it is what? Wrong. After me identifying my various entities, I need to identify the attributes that will make that thing what it is. So what are the attributes for a worker? I need to know, for example, the worker's what? ID, because every single table needs to have a primary key. So the ID will serve as my primary key. I need to know the first name of the worker. I need to know the last name of the worker. I need to know the position of the worker. I need to know the fixed salary of the worker. I need to know the date of employment of the worker. I need to know the phone number of the worker. I need to know my worker's what? Email, so that if I have to reach him, I can reach him. We have the customers table. What information makes somebody a customer? I need to know the customer's ID. I need to know the customer's first name. I need to know the customer's last name. And just so we are very clear, it is very important that when you are saving data, you make it what? Atomic. So I won't save customer full name. I'll just say first name, last name. I'll break them down into their atomicity. Over here, I have what? the phone number of the customer, so that if I want to reach the customer, I can reach the customer for any promotional information. I have to know the email of the customer. I have to know that if the customer is a regular customer or it is not a regular customer, so that if he's regular, then we can start treating that customer differently. When he comes, they will mention the name of the customer. A good example of this, in which I think sometimes you see how people behave, and you, in your mind, you go, okay, this is smart. The woman who does mobile money in front of the school, next to the woman who sells the I think the maize and all of those people. I have been there a few times. There was one time in which, after I went there, I saw her writing my phone number. I didn't make anything of it. You know, they normally write phone numbers and then you go away. When I went away, the next time I came, the moment I got there, he said, "Oh, person is can he no be." Let me see me. I mentioned the amount, and then the woman didn't ask me for my number. When I saw the message popping up, and I just entered the pin and then I left. From that point onwards, you realize that every time I get there, she knows my number. She knows who I am. She knows I'm coming for money. I don't spend a long time there. It's not now that I'm coming to you just say, oh, yeah, yeah, sir, what do you call it? The allowance thing. Once I do that, then my thing comes up. I enter and then I take the money and I go. It is something to be marveled at, because at her level, she has saved my information for me that, oh, since he has been here 10 times, he's a regular. He'll come here all the time. Why don't I make his life easier for me and my life easier for me and keep track? Now we can have conversations. Oh, it's a me macho. Oh, yeah, no, about. She has maintained a customer for life. Because if I have to go to a mobile money venture somewhere, in my mind, I'm like, do I have to give you my number? Let me just go to this lady and be free. So if I am building for an organization, I must think of the future of the organization. It's not just the now. Indicating if the person is a regular customer or not, to you may not matter. But if the person is a regular customer, and when he comes to your auto shop, you go, oh, Mr. David, you are welcome. Oh, I want to do this and this for you. Right there, you create a bond. So it's not just a matter of you saving information on your entities. You must think of the future. You must think of how that piece of information is going to benefit the organization today and benefit the organization tomorrow or in a distance from now. If I want to look at work done, what information will I save under work done? I'll save the work ID, because every single table, remember, has to have an ID. I will save the worker's ID, because I will have to know who did the work. So I will come to my workers table and only take the what ID, so that I know who did the work. For example, when you people write your test, we tell you write only your index number, because your index number will point to who your name is. Your index number points to who your number is. So that if we have to even reach you, we don't even need your number to reach you. We just need your what? Index number. I need to know the date in which the person did the work. I need to know the description of the work. I need to know the allowance for the work. And I need to know who the customer the work was done for. When it comes to the consumable products in which people go and buy, I need to know the product ID. I need to know the product name. I need to know the unit price. I need to know the quantity used. And I finally need to know the work ID so that I know that, okay, for this product in which I am buying over here, the work ID is this. So this is what they use. This is the working which they used to do. Yes, Joel.
So please, for the work done, can an attribute be the status to know whether the work was completed or it's pending or it's
very, very marvelous, Joel. Very marvelous. Over here, we can add status to it. Visited. Then here I need to have visited. ID. I need to know the customer ID. And I need to know the date in which he visited what? Us. Now, one student came to my office and he said something which was very alarming to me. That is even one reason why today we are having this kind of a class. You see, if I take a table here, if I go on and go and see worker ID here, the worker ID here is a primary key. The worker ID here is a foreign key. That is a key that is primary in its own table. But when it comes to another table, it is used to identify an element. It's its original table. That means that if I come here and I have a person with an ID 1, when I go here, I expect to see that there is somebody over here with a primary key of what? 1. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now I can construct my database. I can construct my database. How will I construct my database? Yes, Joshua.
Sir, please, from the question, they were talking about discounts to the workers. So I was trying to find out if maybe for the work done, if you can have an attribute of the discount
Okay.
for the customers rather.
Give me 1 second. I'm coming. Okay. Then I'll answer
Okay,
it. Give me 1 second.
okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry about that. I had a web call, so I had to take it. Now, your question had to do with calculation of the discount, right? If I heard you correctly, whereby the question said we should calculate discount. Can you hear me? Someone said they can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So the question was asked to calculate discount. Now, the calculation of the discount is based on a particular scenario. It's based on how many times in which you have come to our establishment. So I won't add the calculation of the discount to the work done over here. I will not add it there because the if you are adding discount here to say that okay, this customer you have this discount, so this is the discount we are giving you, then fine, we can add discount over here. But if you are putting discount over there because that is what you use to do the calculation of how much discount you should get, then we don't put it here because the number of times in which you have visited us will determine if you get a discount or not. So all we have to do to calculate your discount is to know how many rows in which you have, because the number of rows you have will determine how many times in which you have come to visit us. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
So, for example, let's say the person has come to us 10 times, and then we are fixing a car for him again. And so that, okay, the car for we are fixing, there is an allowance we are giving, but we will give you a discount of, let's say, 50% for this job. So over here, you want to create a place so that if we are giving a customer a discount, we can put here that, oh, you are getting a discount of 50% or 4% or 5%. Okay, that's allowed. That's allowed. But if you are using it to calculate discount, then it doesn't come here because discount is calculated based on a certain scenario. Mhm. So now I have to write my code very quickly to create the tables for the database. And you can see that I can only create the tables for the database when I know the various entities and elements that would work with it. So I know that, oh, I need a worker table. So create worker, create, what am I creating? I'm creating a table. And what is the name of the table is going to be what? Worker. I can close the brackets and then I'll open it up so that I can type with it. Please, did you see what I just did? How I did what I just did. I didn't type everything like it's an essay. I opened it, closed it, and then I started typing with it. So this is the initial structure. So this would create my table for me. But I can't create a table without its attributes. So I have worker ID. It is going to be an integer. It is going to be a primary key, and it is going to be auto underscore increment, comma. The next one is going to be first name. It is going to be a varchar, that is a combination of characters, symbols, and numbers. And it is going to have a length of what? 50. I am going to have last name is going to be a varchar, and it is going to have a distance of 50. I'm going to have the position of the worker. So position is going to be a varchar, Let me just save myself some time and then say this is going to be what? 50. We need to know the fixed salary of the worker. It's going to be a decimal, and it is going to be 10, what? 2, comma. I'm going to have the date in which we employed the person, and this is going to be a date. I'm going to have a phone number, so phone number, which is going to be a VACA, which is going to be VACA 20. Then I'm going to have email, which is going to be a VACA, and it is going to be 100. Please look at how I created my table. Look at how after every attribute name, what follows is the data type. Then whatever constraints will follow. Look at it. Look at how there's a comma, 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 and then the last one, before the close, there's no comma. You can see that when I started, I did the table, did the open and close, opened it and typed what? Within. It is very important we learn how to write the code properly. The structure. Your course is about structure. Making mistakes. Whenever you talk to students and you say something like, if you don't bring the comma over here, everything is wrong. And in their mind, they think you are punishing them or something. I find it very funny because, to be honest with you, the comma not being there, everything is wrong. Unfortunately, you must be perfect. That whole notion of life where that says you can't be perfect, everybody makes a mistake. Yes, everybody makes a mistake. But in certain things, you must be perfect. It's not everything that you can make a mistake with. So here I have my database. In your class group, when our semester started, I put in a link. The link was for DrawDB. DrawDB is an interface, an online GitHub interface in which someone did that helps you to draw entity relational diagrams or diagrams to use for building your application. So in here, we are going to use the editor. And then in using the editor, so here, let me do this. What do? I want to clear everything and then do it again. So new, blank, create. So I'm creating a blank one. Good. And this is going to be a MySQL database. Okay. So over here, instead of me typing what I have to type, I'm going to rather go over here and save my file. So save as, and then I'm going to save it as um, what do I even save it? Okay, let's say create. Let me save it as database .sql. So that it is a database file. So that over here, when I come to import from SQL, I can click here and then click on database. And then when I click on import, there is an error with the line somewhere. Let me see. Override existing, but I have an error in line 5. What did I do in line 5? Let's see. So I have
Say
line.
the comma.
Oh, yes, when I was taking the comma out to explain. You see, everything will be wrong. So I'll save it. Run this database, report, everything is fine. I have just created a worker table. You can see that my worker table has all the information I require. I have a worker ID, integer, first name, varchar, last name, varchar. This is my workers table. Tada, I'm done. I've created an entity. Now, I can go back here, and then in here, I have to create the next table. My next table is going to be create. That's the keyword, right? Create. And then the table in which we are creating is called customer. If my memory is right, yes. So create table. Create table. And then the table is going to be what? Customer. And then I have my brackets. It closes with this. So this is the initial. Then I'll just go in and what? Type. Are we okay? Now, what am I typing in here? I need to type in my customer ID. That's the first thing, because everything you do will have a primary key. Just to save me some time, I'll just copy this and come and paste it here and change this worker ID to customer what? ID. So I have this as my customer what? ID. Then what again do I have? I have the first name of the customer. Oh, please forgive me, but let me cheat a bit. So I have first name, last name. So here too, I'll have first name and last name. And then I will have the phone number and email of the customer. So phone number and email of the customer too. And then finally, I will have the is regular. And this is going to be a Boolean, so that we just see if the person is a regular, one, if it's not a regular, if it's a regular, true, if it's not a regular, false. And then it's going to have a default value of what? False. That means everybody who we create as a customer, originally he's not a regular what? Customer. So you have a default value of false. Whenever we want to change him and make him a regular customer, then we can go and then what? Change it. And note that when we change you to a regular customer, that is when you can have what? Discount and everything in which you need to have. So I'll save this. If I save this and I come here, I can tell it to go to file, go to import from SQL. I want to import database, and I want to make sure that you override any existing diagrams. So when I import, it gives me my worker table. It gives me my what? Customer table. Perfect. The job of the entity relational diagram is to help us to visualize what we are doing, help us to see how what we are doing, how it looks like, how it's going to be like. The next table in which I have is the work done table. So let me go and create the work done table. So over here, I'll come back here. And then in here, I'll start typing my code for the work done table. So I'll type create table. And very importantly, today you can see I am typing every code. I'm not just showing you so that you would just say, oh, this is the work done, then we'll just move on. Because I could do that. I am typing everything for you to see what I'm typing, when I'm typing, what it means, what everything means. Again, I will type the name of my table's attribute. In this case, the attribute is going to be work ID. It's going to be an integer. It's going to be a primary key. So this integer is the data type. Then everything that follows this is the constraint, is the rules that govern that data. So the rules that govern that data is that it is primary, it is a key, it is auto underscore increment. That means the values there will automatically increase by them what? Self. I need to know the worker ID. It is an integer. It is an integer because in its main table over here, the worker ID is also a what? Integer. But here we said work ID. Let me add the ER over here very quickly so that this is worker ID. So it matches this one. Now, I need to know the date the work was what? Done. So work date. And it's going to be a date data type. I need to know a description of the work that is done. Because I don't know how long the description of the work would be, here I would just type text as this data type instead of a varchar because I don't know how long the description is going to be. The allowance is going to be a decimal because it is money, and it's going to be a 10 comma what 2 comma. I need to know the customer's ID that I am working on his car for. So here I have the customer ID, and this is going to be an int, and I'll bring a comma over here. I need to know the foreign keys. So I'll tell the computer that in this table, there are foreign keys. So here, the computer is asking, which one is a foreign key? Oh, the one which is a foreign key is the worker ID. That means the spelling here and the spelling here have to what? Match. Then a computer asks, okay, you are saying this is a foreign key, but if it's a foreign key, that means that there is a main table that it is a primary key. What is the table that is the primary key? So what does this thing here reference? Oh, it references worker ID. Sorry, it references when you go to the worker table. So over here, when I go to the worker table, go and look for worker ID. Again, we have another foreign key. What is the foreign key? Oh, it is the customer ID. What does it reference? It references the customer table. And when you get there, go and look for customer ID. That means that the word here is for this table here. And the one over here is for the customer table. There is customer over here. They must match. If they don't match, everything in which we have done is going to be wrong. So if I save this and I come back over here, just so that we can help visualize what we are doing, I'll go to File, go to this place, click over here, tell it to go and look for database, click open, tell it that whatever you have, just override it, and click import. I have an error in it. So I have to go and solve my what? Errors. So let's go back here. Over here, I forgot to bring the comma, and here there is no need for a what? A comma. So I'll save, come back here. I'll close this. I'll click here. I'll click here. I'll click on open, and then I'll click on what? Import. I still have an error.
The references.
The
So let me go back.
The work ID.
The work ID. Here, I didn't bring S over here. It's supposed to be
worker table.
It's supposed to be references, and then the worker table I did what?
In the worker table, you use work
The
ID.
customer. There's an M. Yeah, you did a mistake.
Where? The customer, yeah.
Worker
Right.
table.
Yeah, it's supposed to be customer. Yes. So let's go back and see if the goals are on my side right now. So let's see. And by the way, you can see that I'm typing everything in console, not in VS Code, so that if there is an error, I will solve it. Back here, you can see that beautifully we have a worker, we have a customer, and then we can see that there is a relationship between the worker over here. But where is the relationship between the customer and this? It didn't come.
The customer table, this one
The
is
spelling
wrong.
is wrong. Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no. So we have to go back and correct it. Oh no. So over here we have customer ID. And then over here we should have customer what? ID. The spellings have to be the same. So let's go back to our thing. And then let's go and click on the file. This, that, this, override that, and voila. So over here we have this, we have that, and over here we have many showing over here, showing that one customer, one worker can have many work done. One customer can have many works in which they need done. One to many, one to many. Beautiful. It is showing the relationship in which they have. And remember, this one to many is called what? The cardinality of the entities. Yes, Dennis.
Please, I wanted to ask, when you are naming the cardinalities, is it compulsory? Like you do it maybe the worker to the work done, then work done to customers, or you can do it worker to work done, customers to work done?
You just said the same thing twice, or I didn't hear you.
Maybe let's say it's worker to work done. It's 1:many.
Mm-hmm.
Then customer to work done, 1:many. Is it should it supposed to be work done to customers like many to one, or?
But what you said is the same thing. If here is one to many, or here is many to one, isn't it the same thing? Or?
So I was just asking if we can write this like anyhow. Maybe we can list all the
if
one.
Let's say I asked you, what is the relationship between work done and worker? What would you say?
Work done and worker, many to one.
Good.
Oh,
what is the relationship between worker and work done?
1:many.
You see that thing. So you must look at the thing from the perspective of who the entity is. If I'm looking at it from the perspective of the work done, then it means that it is many to what? One. If I'm looking at it from the perspective of the worker, then it is one to many.
Oh, okay.
So it is the perspective that will tell you how you mean it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You can see that the software is beautiful, drawing the diagrams for me and doing. I don't have to do anything. There was a reason why I gave you people this at the beginning of the semester. It wasn't because of fun. Let's finish the table. Yes.
Please, I want to ask a question.
Sure.
I want to know, you see, there is the relationship between the worker and the work done, and then the customer and the work done is one to many. So does it imply that like the work done table is, as you said, a junction table or something?
Yes, it's a junction table.
So does it mean that the relationship between a worker and a customer is many to many? Because anytime like there's one to many or one to many,
there is no relationship between the worker and the customer.
Okay.
The relationship between the worker and the customer is dependent on the work done. A good example of that is that, yeah. Talk, I'm listening.
Okay. The reason I'm asking that, initially when we're having one of those classes, you told us that it's not advisable to have in a database design. You shouldn't have something that is having a many to many relationship.
Good.
And then to resolve that, that's when we use the junction table.
Good. So you can see that there is no direct relationship between this customer here and this worker here. This customer here has a relationship with the work being done. This worker here has a relationship with the work being done. This customer here has a relationship with work done. They don't have a direct line. There's no line directly linking the two together. There is no many to many. If you have a many to many, you're supposed to break it down so that you would have one table that is one table that is one, and there'll be a junction table in the middle.
Okay.
Whenever you have a many to many relationship, it means that it can be broken down into 3 tables, technically, at least. A good example of that is the relationship between me and you. I don't have any relationship I don't have any relationship with you. I have a relationship with the course database. My job is to teach database. You have enrolled on database, hence I teach you. So my relationship is with the course. That is why every semester there could be another teacher who teaches the course, because the relationship is with the course. The courses are assigned to different teachers to teach. It can be assigned to anybody. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So it means that over here, for example, I can take this worker ID off and give it to another worker. It does not affect you, the customer, because all you want is the work being what? Done.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Let's finish this table so I can go to create table visit. I don't think there's any need for me to be typing these things anymore. I think you guys get the drift. So here we can have create the customer product table. And then we can also have the create visitors table over here. I can save all of these things. The data types are all there. And then when I come to the table here, hopefully I will not get any error. And then I can have my table, which looks like this. So I have worker, I have customer here. I can see that they all have a relationship with the work being done. And then the customers can go and then buy their products in peace. And then they can have a table which looks like this. Now, this table that looks like this, of course, I will have to translate this into a database and run it as my database. I can come here and say localhost. I don't think I have my XAMPP on, so I have to go and start off my XAMPP. I'll go to localhost. I'll create a database for the organization. The organization was called Silver Plata. So over here, I'll just call my system also what? Silver Plata. It's opening up. So when I click here, I go here, I just click create, to create. It will say it in small letters for me. That's why I just put the capital there. I didn't bother. So it's small letters here. I'll make sure I'm here. I'll click here. I'll just go and copy off all the SQL statements in which I wrote over here. And if I paste it here and I run, it will give me my databases so that when I go to Silver Plata database, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables in it that I can now fill. You see, it is very important we learn how we can take a scenario, and break it down. The parts of the scenario are what is going to create a system for us. It's like those of you who are into the coding thing, we realize you would build a workers model, you build a customer model, you build a work done form. In the work done form, you have a drop down where when you select a drop down, you select the worker, you can select the customer, then you fill the description, the date will be automatic, then you enter the money, then you click, then it will come here. Over here, if somebody wants to do a job, you ask the person, what kind of work are you doing? Oh, I'm doing work 444. Okay, when they enter work 444, then you see all the products they can buy, then they'll buy. Then the customer, when he gets to the reception, oh, yeah, here again, what do you want to do? Okay, this okay. Then they will key in the information over there. You see, you are building a system. You are thinking of how the system will go, how the thing will move. And all of those things will have to be saved somewhere. The data will have to be saved somewhere, put somewhere. Software development goes beyond just coding. The database serves as a platform for everything. That means even if there is a change at the top, there must be a change in the database, and that could change everything. That could be a very, very big problem for how the operation moves and it is functional. Today, our job was to go over some of these things we have done in class again. But this time, to take a case study and analyze it. I'll make the case study available in your class group. The class was recorded. I will send you the recording, and I will send you the codes in which we used to. The link for this draw thing is in your class page already. We must start learning now. We must. And I don't expect you to be able to write SQL statements as command today. But before the exam, I do. Because I think by that time you would have practiced so much that you would be able to write simple commands. When we meet again next week, we will take the query, filling this thing here with data and seeing which worker came the most this month. I want to know which worker came the most between male and female, between year 1, year 2, year 3. Things like that. How do we write queries to support the database to get information? Because remember, your database is a database to a certain point. If it can't let you forecast, get data, manipulate data, then it is useless. The reason we are saving the data is to mine and use the data. So if we can't mine and use the data, then what are we doing? Thank you all for coming. We'll meet again next week if there are no other questions.
Thank you too, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Hmm.